Welcome back to the Curated Beauty Podcast. For those of you joining visually, excuse my skin. I had a halo 2 days ago, although we do a signature halo and we minimize downtime with all of our bells and whistles. I still am a little red, so I apologize. If you're listening, disregard what I said. Today, I am thrilled to introduce a conversation with Ellie Whalen, the founder and owner of Sprayology, a brand that is really a staple in the world of alternative medicine. And I really want to bring more awareness to it. But before we dive into this incredible discussion, I want to take a step back and talk about the origins of homeopathy and its role in alternative medicine. Homeopathy, for those of you who don't know, has long been considered a gentle and natural way to address symptoms, but alternative medicine as a whole takes it a step further. It seeks to really treat the root cause of issues rather than just symptoms. What's unfortunate, however, is that many of these treatments are not covered by insurance, which is a barrier for some. But when it comes to true, long-lasting, healing alternative medicine, which Sprayology offers, it can be really incredibly effective. And I really also love this brand because it's a low barrier to entry to being able to utilize homeopathy. It's simple, as you will see as we dive into the conversation. It really does make sense for even medical aesthetics practices that don't know a ton about alternative medicine or maybe aren't ready to bring in all of the things. It's such an easy augmentation to what our patients are looking for. Now, this conversation with Ellie is special because it was one that I had just a week ago while I was in Chicago for work. I was staying at the Four Seasons, which was an absolute treat. During this free day, which I take free days frequently, this is a day for my mind to truly rejuvenate so that I can show up being my highest and best self. I indulged in a massage. I had a lot of time to reflect. I had dinner with a close friend in Chicago, Danielle Owasu, who has a medical aesthetics and wellness practice there. And it was just such a peaceful experience all over to set a really great tone for my amazing call with Ellie. Then the next day, just so you guys know what I've been up to in this travel, or if you saw me traveling on social media and were like, what is she doing? I drove straight over to Strategic Coach for an amazing workshop. Strategic Coach is founded by someone that I deeply respect, Dan Sullivan. And it was an incredible day of rubbing shoulders with 60 other entrepreneurs where we really dug into strategic planning. And this experience, because I've done so much other coaching, as you guys know, I've worked with Kaylee Lindholm, who's amazing. I can't say that I learned a whole bunch of new concepts, but this left me really energized and ready to revamp some projects that I've been eager to start but didn't know how. And this workshop really helped me kind of reverse engineer my plans and made me realize that I am in the driver's seat, and more importantly, that I need to bring in some more of the right people to put them in the right seats to help me make these ideas a reality. So needless to say, it was a fun, fulfilling day. I feel incredibly grateful to be in a position where I get to use my brain, create, and continually grow as an entrepreneur and as a person and as a woman. So now let's dive into my conversation with Ellie and learn more about Sprayology and why it's such an important part of our practice and how it really was kind of the first step into beauty culture, also adding cultured wellness. So enjoy. Today, I have a very special guest with me, Ellie Whalen, who we met when I was just kind of shopping at another med spa in Miami. We didn't meet physically then, of course, but I was introduced to her amazing products. She is the founder of Sprayology and continues to manage this amazing company that I really just want to get into the meat and potatoes of what this is, what it's all about, and kind of share how this has been really integral in me bringing wellness into beauty culture. A lot of you have that question. So if that's a question, if you're a med spa owner, especially someone who's wanting to bring wellness in, this is a conversation that you're not going to want to miss. So without further ado, welcome, Ellie.
Well, thank you, Jessica. It's so wonderful to be here and to see you today. And you look fabulous as always. And I must say, I'm also really a big fan because I love how much you educate yourself and how you share that education in an easy way to your patients, your clients, your friends, your family. I've learned a lot following you, so I'm enjoying it.
Likewise, I appreciate that. I love the fact that we get to learn. I think that, starting your day with gratitude, I think something that comes up for me a lot is that I get to learn these things and I get to empower other women. And that just has been a huge part of our vision and mission for sure. So, okay, rewinding back, it was probably now a year and a half ago, and I had gone to a med spa in Miami, Margaret, who carries Sprayology. And I was like, what is this? Like, do I need this? Being a consumer myself, I'm like, what am I missing out on in these amazing spaces? And just getting to learn from colleagues. I had gone down there to look at a device actually. And, she was like, oh, some of our favorites is this one. Or if you, are trying to watch your weight, Diet Power is amazing. Or if you are getting a procedure, get some arnica. And I was like, I need them all. And so it wasn't very long before I called you and was like, how can I get this into beauty culture? But starting with a little bit of basics about what you do, can you tell me a little bit about your background and what inspired you to create Sprayology, and a little bit about what Sprayology is? Obviously, we'll dig into homeopathy a lot through this discussion, but that's kind of where I would want to start.
I appreciate that. And really, like a lot of companies that women have formed, they came out of their own personal necessity. So I will be 60 on Christmas Day and this year, and this goes back over 25 years. I was in my mid-30s and I didn't feel good. I was on multiple medications. I was allergic to everything. I recall I was an asthmatic, and I had young children. Working hard. I was a successful woman in business. I actually was with Christian Dior in their jewelry department store business, managing that. And I just would have to lay down in the middle of the day because I felt exhausted. I couldn't wear certain clothes. I couldn't wear perfume. I couldn't wear anything because my system was like this. And always right on the verge of just not feeling well, getting on another round of antibiotics. I was on multiple inhalers for asthma. And, I'm pro medicine. My daughter-in-law is a PA and an RN and I believe in medicine, but I also believe we can do prevention better and do some more things to support our bodies and take some self-responsibility. So that led me to kind of the search back over 25 years ago into the health food space. And really, there was a lot of confusion. And, this is you could Google it and learn about it. This was a long time ago. And I realized that I was drawn most to homeopathy. It's actually the only area of natural medicine that is regulated by the FDA. It has a different regulation than supplements. It's more similar to like an over-the-counter medicine. You're held to higher standards in manufacturing and labeling, and a lot goes into it. But I was drawn to that because I am very science, math kind of based person. And started trying things, and the part of me that was kind of Dior Swatch my prior careers was like, oh, everything is so packaged so poorly and tastes so bad, and you don't even really know what it means or what the intention of the product is to do. So the intentions of Sprayology were to make natural daily self-care and prevention easy to use and easy to understand and consistently effective. So there are a lot of natural product companies in the market that make a whole bunch of products. And it's confusing. And, I don't have time for that. Or they're challenging to use, or they have, unnecessary ingredients in them. And so I sat down and started calling some of the top homeopathic companies in the world. And they wanted to teach me how to do homeopathy, which was done a very certain way. And I find confusing and not consistently effective. Even though I believe in homeopathy, I felt like, gosh, I have to know so much to buy the right thing. Why? Why can't I just buy this one and it work? And so that's the start. I lucked into partnering with two incredible people, a husband and wife, and they were out of California at the time. They had a homeopathic company and they were in the natural space, but their formulas were really innovative. And we sat down and I said, I want to make this easier. Can it? And it was droppers. And I remember traveling all over the country and, I would do these droppers in brown bottles and people would look at me like I'm weird or I'm sick.
Yeah.
When I go like, this is Sprayology, they go, what's that?
Yeah.
I like pretty things. It feels good in my hands. So we sat down and we created Sprayology. And when we did it, I said, I only want the formulas that you see consistently work. And then we tweaked them.
Yeah.
And we added in some supplements as well, because it's estimated really by age group, 15 to 40% of the population struggle with swallowing pills.
Yeah.
And there's a large percent that some don't mind gummies, some do. It's a personal preference, but sometimes there's ingredients in there people don't want to ingest. And so I said, let's spray them. It turns out it makes it more effective. It makes it easier to use. And I think more importantly, when it's easy, it helps your health consistency, right? Because as an esthetician, if you're consistent with the recommendations you make to your client on cleaning their skin, caring for their skin, taking care, you see the benefits.
Yep.
Right? But when it's like, oh gosh, this is too hard, or I don't have time, or my kids need me, or my life's going on, it's hard to be consistent.
Yes.
So I knew if we were going to change people's thinking and get them being more preventative, it had to be simple. So that was the foundation, me not feeling well. So I said I was on a bunch of medicines. It had been over 20 years since I was on an antibiotic or any medicine, with the exception I got bit by a dog and I really felt I should take the antibiotic at that time. That's smart medicine. But it's because of prevention. And I really healed my body, got off all my inhalers. It took a little time. It took some consistency, but it was all Sprayology that I did it with.
I love that. A few things really resonate with me. Number one, we think it's this weird, unique story of all of a sudden being in our mid-30s and having young babies and working, and then all of a sudden just our body completely is like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know, something about like everything that we put on ourselves in our 30s. It's like this shock to the system, and that's okay. I mean, I don't think that we need to change, everything up, but we need to support and appreciate what's going on. And that, from just such a comprehensive wellness standpoint, could be handled so much better if women were empowered and could pick up things that make it easy for them to treat themselves and to try different things without fear of what is this going to do. And another thing is, I found myself in a similar situation with being in my 30s and not feeling well. And then, of course, I did dabble. Luckily, I found someone who did homeopathy, did some supplements, some herbals, and I've even seen like a classic, homeopathic doctor. And it was hard because, first of all, if you take this remedy, you can't take any of these things. And it's like this weird long name and like take 7, like the buy-in is really difficult, I think, for people unless they're just so compliant. And then the pill fatigue is real. I mean, when you start really grabbing a hold of your health and you're taking 10 supplements, and then you're not going to be compliant when you have to swallow that many things every day. And being able, for me, like to travel today, I grabbed my Travel Ease, I grabbed my Body Balance, I grabbed the Rejuvenation Plus. Like, God forbid I don't feel, the immuno booster I swear by when traveling. And so that's part of my whole cosmetic bag now, is being able to take these things so easily, not having to worry if I have water or whatever, just here you go quickly. And so it doesn't surprise me that you were in retail of some kind, like a luxury retail brand, because of the product, because presentation is a lot. And it also doesn't surprise me that your mission was really to make it like homeopathy, but simpler, and to empower women to be able to say, this sounds like something that I need, not having to be told by a practitioner that this is the right thing.
Yeah. Two real things that come out of what you said, but I think one thing I often tell women is take 5 minutes a day to listen to your body.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you know how we know how everyone in our life is feeling? Our significant others, our mothers, our children, our friends, if someone has an upset, but do we take 5 minutes, 2 minutes to say, how am I feeling?
Yeah.
Because that's when you really can start being more preventative. Because I call symptoms data.
Yeah.
If I'm suddenly not sleeping as well, or what if I get a little cut on my hand and it doesn't heal as fast as it normally does? What's my body telling me?
Yeah.
And I think that the body is really smart. And I think that's why homeopathy works really well when you can listen to it, because it responds. I just think it's a critical lesson for all of us to learn. And I think that's why in our 30s, we often feel bad because we're taking care of so many people and so many things and building our careers. And, financial stress often can be in that, reaching for a better home and a better neighborhood for your kids and, climbing the ladder and taking care of everyone. And all of a sudden we feel wiped. Adrenal exhaustion is very, very common at that time. And also, you mentioned the pill fatigue. It made me think of, I was in this meeting with this customer, and I was just talking about that and talking about how much better spray vitamins absorb and why. The membranes under your tongue are very thin. There's direct access into the bloodstream. Some of it you do swallow, but it doesn't have to travel the far path. That being said, when you're going to use something that goes directly into your body and doesn't travel that path for your liver and things, you want a company like Sprayology that's been around for 25 years in business, that guarantees its products, that tests its products, and that are safe. And in this meeting, I'm telling a story how I buy all this stuff and then I didn't see the benefit, and I have all these containers and all the money and the guy reached under his desk and he pulls out this huge bag, and you could shake it. You could just hear all the pills. He goes, this one makes me burp. This one I have to eat with food. This one upsets my stomach. And I said, that's why we started Sprayology.
Yes. Yes. I love that they're TSA friendly too for trails.
Yes.
And you can keep them everywhere. There's some in my car, it's amazing. Some in my office. Okay. I'm going to, have a nice intro before to thoroughly explain homeopathy. But for anyone unfamiliar, can you explain what homeopathy is and kind of how the sprays maybe differ a little bit and how they work?
Yes. So homeopathy is the second most widely used form of medicine in the world today. The first is actually acupuncture. And allopathic medicine, which is most commonly used in the US, which is more chemical-based or medical, would be considered, is fourth. And Chinese herbal kind of goes into that third spot. So homeopathy is very well known globally. It's been around for over 200 years. And really the first homeopaths came about out of need and really developed almost what you'd see today. Think about a vaccination. So homeopathy uses ingredients from nature to trigger the body to fix itself. But they do it in a way that's extremely dilute. So they actually use the ingredient that could cause the symptom if taken at high dose, but instead they give it to you in this micro dose that tells the body, hey, you're under attack. And the body responds. So it's not really what's in this bottle that's making you better. It is. It's a signal, but it's not actually the ingredients. So think of allergy shots. Allergy shots are giving you micro amounts of what you're allergic to so your body can stop being allergic to them. There are some incredible doctors now that are microdosing kids with peanut allergies with a peanut flour. That's homeopathy.
Yeah.
That's what homeopathy does. We use ingredients like treats like. So if you were sensitive to caffeine, I would give you maybe unroasted coffee bean, but not in a dilution that's so dilute, it's telling your body to stop that.
Yeah.
So if you cut an onion, your eyes water. an onion's going to be in our allergy formula for watery eyes.
That's so crazy.
Like treats like. And the other part of homeopathy, the concept that we don't really have time to discuss, it's a little more complicated, and sometimes it gets people quite surprised. In homeopathy, the more dilute an ingredient is in a formula, the more potent it is considered in homeopathy, and the stronger it is. Now, in our society, we think more is better. In homeopathy, less is actually better. So in our acne formula, and I love this as, your background in skin, our acne formula is suggested 2 sprays 3 times a day max. But if someone starts to see their acne worsening in the beginning, we tell them that's a good sign, but we tell them to take it a little less, because in homeopathy, we push illness out of the body. Mm-hmm. So your acne can get worse before it gets better. It's getting it out of the body, just like you might see in a really great, working with an esthetician on your skin. Sometimes your skin's going to get a little worse before it gets better.
Yeah,
I've had people who, on our detox formula, who grew up in homes with smokers and they never smoked in their life, and they start taking our life detoxer and they swear they smell smoke coming out of their skin.
wow.
We have had, when I have an allergy attack, I still 1 month a year have some allergies, even though I've rebuilt my immune system with Sprayology. I will have some allergies during like ragweed, or if I'm around cats. That's all I worry about now. But I'll spray the allergies. I'll feel a little better. It's our fastest acting formula. I've seen it start working as fast as 5 seconds on people, where their face lightens and the red goes away. I'll spray it again. I might need it one more time if it's really bad. All of a sudden, my hands itch and it's gone. It seems a little bizarre, but homeopathy is it's pushing it out. A lot of medicines push things back in, and we're pushing it out of the body.
Yeah, I love that. Actually, allergies is such a great one. And like most people do suffer from some sort of seasonal or some sort of allergy. And you're right about it being so fast acting. We have like a whole jar in our office too, like in our communal area. And like, it's so funny because someone will get up and go to that, little cabinet and spray one. Oh, what are you struggling with? Nosy, but it's so crazy because it does work so much.
Okay.
We have moms, speaking of moms of little ones, they're getting every virus under the sun that first year. And then the moms are taking care of them, trying to come to work, sleep deprived. And we swear by things like the immune booster. Another one that I love how you describe, and I actually gave it to someone the other day because she was like, how do I just feel better? Like, I just want to feel better. And I'm like, you need Rejuvenation Plus. I feel like that's one of my favorites. Can you tell me a little bit about that one?
I actually make a joke. If I ever sell the company, part of the deal is I get a lifetime supply of Rejuvenation Plus.
That's a good negotiation for sure.
I suggest this to people who are concerned about aging and just feeling more vibrant, more vitality as they age. And I suggest it to people who are consistent. This isn't a product like our allergies. You can just take, I'm having an allergy right now. Oh, I might not need it for 6 months. Rejuvenation is a product I call a lifestyle product. You should spray 2 sprays 3 times a day. You might not notice the benefits right away. This is something you notice as time goes on. Better skin elasticity, better overall energy, better sleep cycles. Although we have a sleep product that will really improve your sleep. So it's really working on the health of the pituitary, because when the pituitary is under stress, it stops functioning as well. And this product reminds the pituitary to function and to just age at a more graceful look. We're going to continue to age, but it does it in a more healthy, meaningful way. The other product I really love for someone who says they just feel wiped is the Body Balance.
Yeah.
That's when, adrenal stress, you're burning the candle at both ends. You feel like you're figuratively going from the accelerator to the brake in your life all day. You're constantly on stop and go and taking care of and pivoting and taking care of a lot of things. This is when your body is putting out too much stress hormone. And this is when stress starts to impact the body's health. Yeah. So if someone's complaining of fatigue and they're under a lot of stress, I'd suggest that product. But if they don't have the stress element, I don't suggest it. It really comes on by stress. But one other thing I do want to say about homeopathy, the thing that's so special about it is there's no side effects and no contraindications.
Yeah.
And we are held to a higher, in terms of labeling and clarity and having our indications and any warnings on the box, more like an OTC. If you were to buy a cold medicine in the grocery store or the drugstore, that is so important for people who are taking a lot of medications because they need to. If someone's on high blood pressure medicine, it's hard for them to find an allergy formula or a cold formula that doesn't cause them an issue. Yeah. And that is Sprayology can be layered on and not affect the effectiveness of medicines they're on and not cause any disruption.
Which that is different than, what I had been taught traditionally with single therapy, homeopathy, for sure. Pivoting a little bit, like, what trends are you seeing being in the wellness space, particular in the realm of homeopathy? Are you seeing like anything emerging, anything that you're interested in, any way that Sprayology complements things?
We definitely see cycles to things with Sprayology. Again, we really make a close knit. We do 18 homeopathic formulas and 3 supplements because we only make formulas we know consistently work. So we don't have an isolated headache formula yet because headaches have so many different roots for so many different people that we don't feel like we've nailed it. Like we'll take care of a headache and a hangover or a cold or an allergy or in travel. But in terms of trends, the biggest trend change we saw resulted from COVID. Mm-hmm. We saw people being more willing to be more preventative. Why did somebody get it worse than I got it? What could I do about that? So we also saw people taking a more serious look at their immune system and their lung health. So we saw an improvement in our Life Detoxer and our immune product as well in terms of sales. I think I'm actually more curious to know, thinking of things you see. I think there's going to be a lot to come out. We've talked a lot about, the microbiome and the stomach, and all of this has been such a trend for a long time. I think skin is next.
Yeah.
Biome. And I do think spray products in general. I think, there was the pill, there was the capsule, there was the gummy. I think the spray, once people start taking it, they're like, wow, that was easy. I keep 3 different ones on my nightstand in different places for different reasons. Mm-hmm. That if I have something in the middle of the night, I know which product I'm reaching over to grab. Like our menopause product, gosh, that has saved so many women. It gets rid of hot splashes and night sweats within 2 to 3 weeks for most women.
Which is amazing. I think that for me, the trends that I'm seeing are for sure embracing wellness overall. There's an interesting book, which you probably have read it or heard of it by, I think his name's Peter Glyden, and it's called Everybody's Sick and I Know Why. And it really talks about the whole evolution of allopathic medicine, which is our conventional medicine, versus naturopathic medicine, and why kind of allopathic medicine won out. It was just who everyone backed. It wasn't that it was superior. And I think that we have seen a trend of people questioning more, like, is there another option? Is there something else that I could try? This doesn't seem to be working. This doesn't really seem to be offering me a resolution of my symptoms or my problem. It's more so covering it up. And so I think that people are more willing to kind of go back to the source and say, okay, what is actually going on with my body and how can I support it? Which is largely why I think that homeopathy is such a great tool. And then the other kind of trend I see is that we're using things as tools, and we have a lot of tools in the toolbox for comprehensive care. And that, I'm a big bundler of things. So if we have a medical weight loss program, Diet Power is going to be in there. If we have a hormone program or we're doing sexual wellness, Women Power is going to be in there. And I love to see people try things from a bundle standpoint, not picking and choosing like, oh, I'll just do this. Like I want them to have comprehensive care personalized to them. And so it's beautiful to be able to reach for these things and have them so easy to comprehend for a woman to say like, that makes sense that I'm using this and I can see that it works, because a lot of them work so quickly, to your point. And then it opens the whole door for what else can I do to maximize and optimize my own wellness and actually take care of myself, you know?
First of all, I love the toolbox for comprehensive care and bundling. And I do think it should be more of a total. Let's figure out all the options out there and what works best for me versus, I don't believe in homeopathy, or I don't believe in allopathic medicine. When you travel abroad, for instance, if you're in France, I think 98% of the population uses homeopathy in some form, in some way. But you'll see on a pharmacy in a corner, it will say naturopathy, homeopathy, pharmacy.
Yeah.
It's so they're looking at it in a more total holistic view in terms of what I need right now. Mm-hmm. And I do think that is, you nailed it, is a trend. We're seeing the younger medical people a little more open and aware of things. We heard doctors talking about D3 during COVID because low D3. What they learned then was, oh my gosh, if you don't have K2 in your diet, you're going to cause problems with that D3. So doctors are starting to now recommend K2 with the D3 supplement, which is what our spray does.
Yes.
And our grandmothers had K2 in their diet. So it's not just the customers, the customers, patient people are changing, but things that are impacting our body are changing.
Yeah.
Different stressors were not there that are now triggering more disease, more illness. And then we're taking one medicine that might cause a symptom, and then we take another medicine to relieve that. Maybe we really need that one medicine, but maybe we can relieve the symptom with a homeopathic.
Yeah.
And so that's why I like what you said about the comprehensive care. But onto the K2, D3 thing.
Yes, let's talk about that, because first of all, that one tastes
very
so good.
I know. Is that yummy?
Yes. And I think that's a great one to give to your kids because they won't mind it.
Yeah. We actually just reformulated the taste of the multi. I was not a fan of it. It's very hard to make a really good multi with, 14 nutrients in it and no artificial flavoring and completely natural and vegan and make it taste good. We've improved it. So the multi I actually like now. So we just got that in-house this week. So we'll have to make sure we get you that.
Nice.
That is a great one. Our vitamins are dosed legally ages 4 and up. Mm-hmm. And my kids got everything earlier than that, but 4 and up.
I was going to say, I can say it. I definitely gave it to my kids earlier.
Yeah. And then the D3 and K2. So D3 levels are very important for women as we age, for men as well. The darker your skin, the more likelihood you are to have lower D3 levels. And living in climates with low sun, living in the Midwest in the winter, your D3 levels go down. This is why people say, oh, I need the sunshine. I feel sad. They get gloomy and their mood's affected and they get sick. So D3 is a nutrient we all need. When we had K2 in our diet, whole milk, liverwurst, organ meats, things like that, we didn't need to take D3 with K2 because K2 is the catalyst that tells the D3 to go into the immune system to improve mood and also to help with bone health and things. We went to a heart healthy diet, no whole milk. I mean, do you eat liverwurst or organ meats? Right.
Oh, I've now started to take a supplement of liver, but no, I do not.
Yeah.
But you're right. My grandma did.
Yeah, they had it. It was part of their regular diet. So what happened was I've read articles from World Health Organization and NIH about, came out after COVID because so many people were taking such high levels of D3. And if you take it and you don't have K2, it actually can go into the soft tissue parts of the body and cause disruption versus healing. Mm-hmm. So just a little, you don't need a ton of K2, you don't need a ton, but you need, it's the catalyst that tells it how to work. It tastes great too. It's kind of peachy mango. Yes. And then our third supplement is a methylcobalamin B12 and folate. And Americans
talk about that formulation of B vitamin too, because I think so many people are like, oh, it has B vitamins, but I would love to hear your take on that.
Yeah, so our multi has an assortment of Bs, which is a great all around. But some people really know that they need more B12 specifically. And B12 is a nutrient that's very hard to absorb in pill form. This is why sometimes weight loss doctors will do B12 injections and things because it needs blood to get into the body. And this is why we take ours under a supplement under our tongue. Some health food stores will also sell like a fizzy tab, but B12 in pill form generally doesn't get to the source of the body. So B12, people who need more B12 are anyone who consumes alcohol, anyone who has stress in their life, anyone who's on medication, and anyone who doesn't eat a lot of animal protein, red meat and things. So when you look at just those four categories alone, that's a lot of Americans. Right? The alcohol and the stress and the medication alone, not even considering the vegans and vegetarians. So B12 is important for energy. It's in almost every cell of the body. It's important for brain health. I actually came across a woman in my career who thought she had early onset Alzheimer's.
Wow.
And she was a vegan, finally got tested, and her B12 was like shot.
Oh.
And so she started taking the shots from her doctor and Sprayology in addition to get it into her body faster and get her levels up and be consistent. So B12 is really, really important. And it just it's one of those things, sometimes people have a lot of vague symptoms and they just don't feel great, or things hurt a little more than they used to, or I can't remember quite as clearly as I'd like to. And it's often just low B12.
Wow.
Yeah.
The methylated form too, I know like people are having a certain gene mutation, MTHFR, like no tomorrow. I have it. One of my children has it for sure. And a lot of the methylation of vitamins become really important as well. And the bioavailability just isn't the same by taking an oral capsule. So I love that the sprays the delivery is so impeccably designed so that we can actually absorb what we need as well.
Yeah. And we pair it with folate in our energy formula. A lot of people also think folic acid and folate, they are the same nutrient, but folic acid is synthetic.
Yes.
And folate is the natural source. And ours is usually either, depending on the lot, it could be from spinach or lemon peel is where we derive it from. But there's also a lot of B12 on the market. And there's the cheapest form is cybocolobin. And there's a lot so I always say, if it's a C, it's cheap.
Yeah.
You want the M, might be a little more money, but it's a higher quality nutrient and actually gets to the source in the body and gets to the blood. So then your body decides where to send it out and get it going. Yeah. So you can be tired. You can also be hungover. Hopefully not because you took our party relief, but
exactly.
Taking a B12, it gets in there and it cures you of that.
And you know what? I rarely drink anymore these days, but I hate to say it, but one of my favorite Sprayologies is Party Relief because if you need it, it's there for you and it really works. Just to tell everyone what Party Relief is, it's a homeopathy formulation that you take hopefully prior to any alcohol beverage indulgence and then during, so that you're processing those toxins and helping your body to detoxify. And I have to say that totally works. We've been at work events before passing it around. I take it to the golf course. Like I said, I've really minimized alcohol in general because once you realize that how bad it makes you feel and that you're having to detox, it's like, let's just not do it. But not everybody's there. And for those moments of indulgence, it is lovely to have on board.
I love a glass or two of wine. And, but as I aged, I definitely felt more effects.
Yes.
And, I just keep a Party Relief around. And if I have a drink, I take a spray. The funny thing is I have a great group of friends that I'm blessed to have in my life. And we get together for a few times a year for Girls Weekend. In fact, we're celebrating next weekend, a bunch of our 60th. We're all getting together. And if I ever show up without Party Relief, they're like, go home and get that and bring it back because we want to enjoy and feel good the next day.
Yes.
And it's not about encouraging drinking a lot. It's really like when you're drinking less and you drink, you feel it more.
Yeah, 100%.
And so it's a preventative. And that's what's interesting about homeopathy versus more allopathic medicine. It can be preventative. So we can reduce the duration or the intensity of a cold or even prevent it if taken at onset. And that's why I loved how you described, you're so knowledgeable about Sprayology. I'm so impressed because I know you do that in all your products, but to know exactly how to take that properly and to talk about it, I do take it when I start drinking, and I try to take it every hour of drinking if I'm having girls' weekend or something. That's how it works. It actually can prevent it so you don't end up feeling bad and then have to recover.
What is your number one seller?
Mhm. Our number one seller is Sleepy's for 25 years.
Wow.
Sleepy's by a lot. It is just, we have a cult following on this product. It improves quality of sleep. It improves sleep cycle. It improves depth of sleep and dreams over time, but it doesn't drug you.
Yeah.
So say you took Sleepy's and the kids started not feeling well and you had to get up. You could get up and function.
Mhm.
It does not knock you out. We will have some customers who aren't happy about that occasionally. They're like, well, if I spray it, how quick will I fall asleep? I go, I don't know. It's not how this one works. The longer you take it, the better it works, which is different than some natural products that are popular in like melatonin that product can cause side effects. The longer you take it, you start needing more, and then it can cause morning grog.
It's a hormone,
Yeah, it make you feel, yeah. So our product's gentle. I describe it to people, it's like slipping into a nice bath.
Mhm.
But the longer you use it, the deeper your dreams become, the deeper your sleep. I am at my age, I track my sleep.
Yeah.
I rarely, over a 14-day period, do not hit my sleep goal of 8 hours a night.
That's amazing.
I don't have an issue, and I'm not drugging. I'm taking Sleepy's.
Wow, that's really good.
Yeah. And, again, the first night, especially if someone's had sleep issues for a long time or maybe taken a lot of medications, they might want to be weaning themselves off. We've gotten a lot of people off of heavier duty, sleep medications and allergy medicines and things. It takes a little time.
Mhm.
I'll tell to people, and I'm sure, again, you have to tell people, you haven't cared for your skin in a while.
Yeah.
It's going to take some time. We need to rebuild the skin layer. We need to, it's the same thing. If you really haven't given your body care in a while, be patient, be consistent. The products work, and that's why we stand behind them. I don't know a lot of natural product companies that in their customer brochure, in writing, guarantee that the products will work.
Yeah. Okay. So I do have to shift gears because I love female entrepreneurs and I love business and brand growth. And so as the founder of Sprayology and running this business, how do you stay true to the core mission? Have there been any pivotal moments that have really accelerated the company's growth or made you twist and turn and go a different direction for the better? Can you share any pearls with
Wow, there's a lot in that question. And especially, we were founded in 2000. It will be 25 years, before too long. So there has been a lot of things. What I will say is if you don't make a quality product, you're not going to survive.
Mhm.
You can be a one-hit wonder. I'd rather be the Rolling Stones. I'd rather be here for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think that has gotten us through some really challenging times.
Mhm.
COVID, our distribution closed down, besides our direct to consumer. That was hard. We've been around since the 2008 and 2009 financial crisis when our largest customer called us up one day and said, as a company, we just want to let all of our vendors know who aren't, food and beverage, that we're not placing any POs for a year.
Wow.
It's hard. But our customers' belief, our customers' testimonials, seeing these products work, seeing how they changed my life, my family's lives. My daughter is now 24 years old. She's my youngest. I have 3 from 24 to 31. And my 2 oldest sons, their wives are both expecting. So I'll be grandmother this year. And then a month and a half later in February. So excited.
So
But, I've seen the impact on the people around me. But my 24-year-old daughter has never been on an antibiotic because I would see how she felt. I would be preventative. I would, ask her how many kids were out sick today, and then start spraying her with immunobooster. That being said, if she had strep or she had something else, she would go on an antibiotic. I believe in medicine. I believe in science. I just really believe we have some responsibility towards prevention. But I think that's, we have stayed true to ourselves. Sometimes customers and companies will say, oh, you haven't released a new product lately. And I'm like, I was in the fashion jewelry business and the fashion watch business. It was all about newness. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, the thing I learned from both Swatch Watch and Christian Dior was quality and standing behind it. And, being good to your customers, being customer service. These are the cornerstones. And it has been trying. I got to say, 25 years ago, telling people to spray something in your mouth, we were the spray product. People looked at me like I was crazy.
Which is so crazy because now it's so mainstream. But I hear you. You paved the way and were such a pioneer.
Yeah, it was great. I love when I have customers who have been taking the product for, 15, 20 years, or we'll see web orders, orders from customers come across and we know these people's names because they're so loyal. We have this one customer who's been taking us for years and she always calls us at the end of the year. And she says, how many times did I purchase? How much did I spend this year? And she goes, wow, that's so much less than I used to spend on medicines. And she just always says, thank you. And I say, thank you for your call, Ann. I'll talk to you next year.
No, it's crazy because, certain medicines can be covered by insurance. And of course, people are paying out of pocket for our wellness services. And I have my own thoughts on the whole insurance model, like right now, prayers for everyone in Florida because there's this hurricane coming. But like insurance is for these catastrophic events, right? But say someone wants to go renovate their house because they want a facelift of the aesthetic, they have to pay out of pocket. And really, that's kind of what wellness has come to, like your insurance is basically like we all have it. If I had appendicitis tomorrow, if I need, like whatever happens, thank God I have it. But when I want to upgrade my life and live my fullest and best and strongest and longest life, that does have a cost. And I think that we don't need to shy away from that because like you're offering value to your customers and that trickles into their customers and their patients. And I think that that's just so rewarding and such a special part about what we get to do and not be held to what insurance will cover, You
make a great point, and I've talked to customers about this, and because sometimes people will say, "Oh, I want 10," and gosh, they're not inexpensive. We're also not that expensive. We're under $40 a bottle.
Low barrier to entry, people.
Yeah, we're a low. Our vitamins are a little more than $1 a day, and our homeopathics actually have 90 adult doses for under $40. But life is choices too.
Yes,
I will be talking to someone who says, "Oh, I want 10 of them," and she's standing there with a $5 latte, and I'll say, "So." If you get one of those every day, you could have these products are about $1 a day. You could have 5 of these when you're thinking about the cost over a month. So it is about choice. It's also about how you feel. Like I want to rock my 60s. I am determined and I want to rock my 70s and my 80s. And so I have to listen to my body and take care of it. And so prevention is part of that.
Yeah.
Well, I decided 2 years ago, I always liked my body. I never, I was always tall and, more athletic. But I think just over time, maybe got kind of used to a little larger size than I was, as I think felt my body best operated at. But I liked how I looked. My husband wasn't complaining. I could pull it off. And a little more than 2 years, it will be 3 years in January. I had an incentive. My sons were both getting married. And I said, you know what? I think I want to lose 25 pounds. And
Wow.
just think, yeah, I was 5'10". I'm still 5'10". I was like a size 12, occasionally a tight 10, right? And
Yeah.
look, but I just felt like, gosh, I've had a lot of knee issues from athletics, and I did a few things. One, I monitored everything I ate and drank for 2 weeks. And frankly, I make pretty good choices, but I realized, wow, do I need 10 handfuls of almonds? Maybe I could have three, or maybe I could have, half a sandwich or change my bread but I didn't give up anything. But I had more self-awareness. I had a goal and I had my sprays, and I sprayed the Diet Power like crazy. 15 minutes before I wanted to eat, and anytime I was hungry and I didn't want to eat. So 10:30 in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 10 o'clock at night. There's nothing, it's not an amphetamine. It won't make you stay awake, but it works. And it's really been amazing as a maintenance product for me. Now that I've lost the weight, if I, after girls' weekend, we're going to eat and drink more than normal. And that Monday after, I'm going to,
having something that
again, it works.
It's so good. The other thing too is like for a lot of people on, the GLP-1 agonists, like when they want to taper off and they've lost the weight they want to lose, but they want to maintain. But even we rope it right into our into our weight loss programs. So I really, really love that. And I love that you have made yourself the test pilot with all these things as well. Okay, so I guess kind of wrapping up.
No, you and I could talk forever and for days, and we'll keep going, but I love this. I really enjoyed it.
So part of me feels like I have two more questions, I think. Part of me feels like you did answer this, because I love that you don't feel this urgency to try to keep putting out new products, because I think a lot of companies go awry with that. Like I've aligned with kind of startups or companies, whether it's skincare or whatever, and then they just keep innovating to stay on top of what they're going to promote at their national sales meeting and how to keep the juice going. And I think that if people just focused on what you focus on, which is value to your patients, which is the same as me, I think that you don't need to keep reinventing the wheel and coming up with something new. The new is continuing to innovate and ideate and customize these plans to make sure that people know that the tools that you have fit, you just have to know where to put them. And so I was wondering for you, outside of innovating new product, what do you envision for the future of Sprayology, or do you have any new products or innovations in the works? And if you, don't, as the wellness industry evolves, where do you see Sprayology in 5 to 10 years in the wellness space?
Well, that's great. And I do think we do look at trends and things we learn as we learn more about the body and what the body needs. We'll definitely be looking to add products. We had a few additional homeopathic products in the line at one point, and we pulled them back just to really focus, because again, if the customer gets too overwhelmed, then they want to buy everything, and then they don't be consistent. But we really designed the line head to toe from the inside out, right? So there's a couple ones I miss that I would like to bring back in, but I think for right now, this is correct. We maybe would add a few new SKUs later, and possibly some more in the supplement side. I think there's some real innovations we could do there. We have even been looking at kind of a mix of a probiotic and a prebiotic, but so maintaining them in liquid form and maintaining stability, that they stay preserved and do it naturally, is really complicated. But I really hope to achieve that. Yeah. We have tried to do things kind of in the fish oil and the omegas, and it just tastes too bad. I'm not going there right now. What I like to see in Sprayology is a spray in everybody's purse or backpack or in the guy's pocket. These things help you feel better. They work. We have changed people's health and well-being, whether it be the body balance or the immunobooster or just a natural, gentle allergy formula that when you take it over a year or two, you're going to see you have less allergies because it's going to work like allergy shots.
Yeah.
And so I would love to be a household name and really just helping people understand they have tools, they have the self capacity to heal themselves and to feel better on a daily basis.
Mhm.
And, it's not that hard. It can be easy. And that's our mission.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like gut is huge, especially for a lot of what I do. And I feel like there's just so much buzz around NAD. That's another one, but that's a tough one too.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to, keep sharing emails and things and say, are you looking into this? Look into this. I want to learn more. I'll look into it too, because
that's the beauty of the partnerships. Yes, this is my favorite part of what I get to do, other than leading my team, is the relationships and the strategic partnerships that we get to have. Okay, last question would be what advice would you give to someone who's maybe in the aesthetic space wanting to bring in wellness? How would they maybe implement, like I did, Sprayology into their medical aesthetics practice?
They should call us or email us at info@sprayology.com and we'll get them started. You see the displays behind us. We have 3 entry points for customers based on what they're offering and what pairs well, and it's very flexible. Mm-hmm. It can be really easy. We have partners like you who are very responsible, who educate themselves and educate their team, and that's where Sprayology does really well. Because people are like a little like, what is this? The display will say, spray it in your mouth. What? There's still a learning curve there. And, we just want them to know we'll be good partners and we'll stand with them and make sure they have the tools they need to educate their team and help people feel better naturally. Yeah. People want, like you said, I love that comprehensive care, multiple items in your toolbox. I just love what you're doing and what you're about. It's really exciting. And, you're a force. So congratulations on all you're doing. And I'm sure I love that you said you love doing this and these partnerships other than leading your team, which again says so much about you that, your team is in there. It's not an I. Yeah. Congratulations. We're really enjoying working with you. We look forward to doing it for a long time.
Thank you. I can't wait to continue this partnership. And I really, above all that, appreciate you taking the time to also educate our patients, because this may, either our patients or my colleagues that just need this in their practice as well. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.